I remember we were at a restaurant because it was my birthday, and Lauren and Chris had handed me a birthday card, and it said, "Happy birthday, Grandma," which was not unusual because the dogs always get me a card. So I'm a grand dog mom, or grandmom, or whatever you call it for dogs. And so I didn't think it was unusual until I got to the bottom of the card. And it said, "Baby St. Clair, due November 2018.
They brought me this little glass that said retired grandma and a book to go with it, a really special book that they gave to show me, and I was shocked. One, because they hadn't been married very long, and I was thinking that maybe they would wait a little while.
I was so excited. I was very excited.
Well, Lauren had a rough delivery, so I was very concerned about her. And then when I got to hold him the following day, because she had him, about 1 a.m.
The emotions of, wow, she's perfect. Thank you, Lord, for a healthy life. And it was overwhelming, the joy that we felt that day.
You just look at him and you're just amazed at the tiny little hands and the tiny little feet, and you're looking at them trying to see, do they look like either of their parents, or just, the love that you feel for that baby.
I don't know. It's hard to explain. I've heard people say you don't know what it's like until you have one. And that is very, very true, because you just can't imagine what it's like to just have that little person that's kind of like part of you, extended part of you. So.
Well, for years it has just been, pretty much adults at Christmas. And to have a child and see it through their eyes, and just the wonderment, and, the opening up this year he's more interested in the packaging.
To see things in their eyes, to see how they enjoy the littlest tiny details and how it brings such joy to them, and we see that as well. They look at flowers differently, they look at grass, they look at puppies, they look at lights, and anything they see, and they try to explore, and it's just lovely to make us stop and see the simple things of life and how special they are.
You can spoil them rotten and then give them back. We used to say we had to deprogram our grandchildren. Our children after they came from their grandparents' house. So.
It's my parents are at the end of their life, and they haven't gotten to meet Noah. And knowing that it's the end of their life and they won't get to meet him is very sad to me. I may not see another Christmas. So it's hard for that. But being around him makes it a little easier. But I enjoy him immensely. It's wonderful to have a grandchild. You never really knew when people said, well, you'll love being a grandma because you can spoil them, and then when these start getting rotten, you can leave. You go, here. I think his reaction to different things, and him starting now to say words, he doesn't say complete sentences, but just he says a lot of uh-oh, and he says a lot of, oh no. And just seeing his reaction to things, because he, you forget them seeing things for the first time. He's a blessing. He truly is.
Well, I was so excited because I was wondering if I would ever be a grandmother. My sons decided to get married a little bit later than all my friends' sons, and I always enjoyed children so much and loved them, and I was wondering, will I ever have that joy? But it happened, and it was the most wonderful day of my life when I found out I was going to be a grandma. It just gets more wonderful though, even when they come in now and they see you and their eyes light up and it's like, Susu, you know, it's like, it gets better. That was wonderful, but now it's even better. This has been quite a year, and you think about, when it first started, we couldn't even be near them. And that was very hard. There's nothing that you can take from the joy that we get every time we hold, and she's just learned to say, I love you. That's what I loved about working with kids for so many years, is seeing the light come on, seeing the lights at Christmas time. It's just every little detail is so special with them, and we realize how fast time goes too, and I just wanted to stop for just a moment to enjoy the moment.
You know, the anticipation of having a grandchild is kind of, I guess, the same thing, just an excitement that you can't kind of explain or express.
So much has happened this year with thinking about, oh, I don't want them to grow up in a world like this. But then you think, you know, gee, that's what it was before Jesus came too, and Jesus came, and so I've really tried to think about that a lot during this time, that He is our promise and our hope and our, so even when we're worried about things like coronavirus and other stuff, we don't have to be fearful, because Jesus will walk with us, and I want the girls to know Jesus, you know, and we're going to teach them about Jesus too, that's why He came. That's what Christmas is all about.
Most Sunday evenings at 7 o'clock, you'll find me and my family gathered around the TV to watch America's Funniest Home Videos. We really enjoy the occasional trampoline accident and the all too familiar piñata incident. This week there was a video of a little boy who got a Nintendo for Christmas. And as he's unwrapping the present, he screams. He picks it up like this and holds it in front of his head, and he just starts running around the house, losing his mind, screaming his head off in this joyous, exuberant, ecstatic expression. A lot of times we tease out the difference between joy and happiness. We like to think of joy as an existential state of being, and we contrast that with the ups and downs of our emotions. But I've been wondering this week if maybe that differentiation doesn't give into our more stoic and puritanical instincts. And maybe this year we could just give ourselves permission to be a little bit more like the Epicureans. I'm at a playground right now, the natural habitat for joy and excitement, for exuberance. There's not a lot of it going on right now because, you know, it's freezing, and because there's a strange bearded man all alone with a camera, so that tends to keep the children away. The Epicureans followed a man by the name of Epicurus, a philosopher, and he became kind of the founder of what came to be known as hedonism. The idea that pleasure was the main thing in life, that pleasure had an intrinsic value all its own. Now, for most of us, we think of hedonism kind of negatively. It's giving into our base desires. It's gluttony and licentiousness. It's staying up late into the wee hours of the morning, partying. It's eating an entire can of easy cheese in one sitting. That's hedonism. But that's not what Epicurus had in mind. It's probably where his followers went, but it's not what he intended. For him, true pleasure, true happiness comes from abstaining from unnecessary desires. It comes from finding inner peace and tranquility through simple things. It's interesting that in the testimonials, they were asked to reflect on the joy of the Christmas season through the lens of their grandchildren. And they all said something similar, seeing the child experience the lights and the trees and the tissue paper and the presents for the very first time. seeing that excitement and that exuberance, that was Christmas joy for them. This is a different kind of joy than that child with the brand new Nintendo. It's almost a voyeuristic joy. There's a detachment and a distance. It's finding pleasure in the small things, the quiet things, the lowly things. There's a quote from Dietrich Bonhoeffer. Who among us will celebrate Christmas correctly? Whoever truly lays down our power, all honor, all reputation, all vanity, all arrogance, all individualism beside the manger. And whoever remains lowly and lets God alone be high. Whoever looks at the child in the manger and sees the glory of God precisely in his lowliness. Maybe this year you won't have a Nintendo under your tree, but maybe it will be enough to take your place at that quiet, lowly manger, to join with the heavenly host and sing out, "Joy to the world, the Lord is come."
Angels we have heard on high, sweetly singing o'er the plains, and the mountains in reply, echoing their joyous strains. Gloria in excelsis Deo. Excelsis Deo. Shepherds, why this jubilee? Why your joyous strains prolong? What the gladsome tidings be, which inspire your heavenly song?